Welcome to Story Corner, a place where we share the triumphs, struggles, and lessons learned from everyday people. Join us as we delve into the unique experiences that shape us and inspire us to live our best lives. Subscribe now for new stories.
On the one hand, Mike wanted to spend the rest of his days with the woman he had fallen in love with, but on the other hand, he didn't want to be betrayed for his wealth again. Mike decided to put the woman's intentions to a rather dramatic test. It was 2 a.m. and Mike was laying in bed, unable to sleep as he thought about the stunning woman sleeping in the room next to him. Part of him longed to go to her, reveal his intense feelings, and finally kiss her like he had wanted to do for the past few weeks. But another part of him warned him to proceed with caution. At 71, Mike was just starting to live his life after dedicating most of his younger years to building and managing a multi-million-dollar business. He finally had the time to appreciate the simple things in life, but love was something he feared hoping for. He had already experienced love and heartbreak once before, several years ago, and he thought of happening again was daunting. I don't think I could handle another betrayal, Mike thought to himself. Mike shuddered and turned to the other side of his bed. Even his son Jane and daughter Julia had been skeptical about their father falling for another woman at his age, but who could contain the heart, old or young? The now older and secretly scared man once had the world at his feet. When Mike turned 25, he had already made his first few millions and his business was growing like no other. That's when he first met Helen at his 25th birthday party. She seemed so gentle, so wild, and seemed to love life just as much as he did. It was love at first party, and with every subsequent party they met at, they fell harder and deeper for each other. Despite the fear and uncertainty that lingered in his heart, Mike couldn't deny the pull towards true love. He and Helen had a passionate romance that lasted 6 months, leading them to tie the knot and start their lives together. However, over the years their love fizzled out, and Helen took advantage of Mike's wealth, leading to a bitter legal battle that left him penniless, without a business or a home, and solely responsible for raising their 2 young children. Decades later, Mike met Aisha, a 53-year-old street performer who he saw singing on a busy sidewalk. Despite his past experiences, Mike felt drawn to her and wanted to open his heart to love again. The woman's voice locked Mike's feet into the ground and it reached a place in his heart where he'd been hiding all his old pain. He waded across the street to her, hoping she would move her palms away so he could see her face. And when he finally did, the skis rumbled and the sun disappeared in the rain. Mike learned that the beautiful woman's name was Aisha and she had nowhere to go after being kicked out by her family. "Come home with me, at least until this storm passes," Mike said effortlessly. "You have a place to live for as long as you want." It had been 6 months since Aisha had first entered Mike's mansion, though it was hard to imagine what the house felt like before her. Aisha brought warmth into the space, she brought love and calmness, and she took care of everything in the house that needed tending to, including Mike's quiet and lonely soul. It was long before Mike and Aisha, who came from vastly different backgrounds, found themselves falling in love. Although Aisha didn't appear to be motivated by money, Mike couldn't shake the feeling of caution. His now adult children, Jane and Julia, also expressed their concern. "She's just using you for your money, just like Mom did," Julia warned. Jay added, "She was homeless and now she's got everything she could ever want without having to work for it." "Wake up, Dad." Despite his children's dismissive words, Mike knew he needed to be certain of Aisha's true feelings. To the end, he made a bold move to test her love for him. Aisha was walking to the library that morning. As always, she crossed the spot on the sidewalk where her home used to be. Every time she passed it, her heart was full of gratitude. But that day she was surprised to find an older homeless man sitting there, shivering in the cold. The man was hiding his face under the old jacket he was wearing, just like Aisha used to. Seeing that man brought up old forgotten feelings of sorrow and helplessness in her mind, and she couldn't stop herself from approaching the man. "Hello, have you had something to eat? What can I get you?" Without lifting his head, the man said, "What do you care? You think one meal is going to get me out of this wretched life?" Aisha was taken aback by my harsh tone, but she understood that his words were likely a result of pain. "A meal alone won't solve everything, but it will still provide some relief," she said as she sat beside him on the sidewalk. "It will quiet your growling stomach and warm your body, allowing you to sleep peacefully tonight. It will also foster gratitude and hope in your heart to keep you warm." Aisha then shared that she too had once been in the same situation as the man on the sidewalk. "I want you to know that there is kindness in this world and it will find its way to you. But until then, you must continue to push forward," she said, tears welling up in her eyes. "You must keep showing up, finding food and maintaining an honest and open heart." With that, Aisha took the man's hand and offered a comforting squeeze. "And if there is ever a day when you feel like giving up, come see me at the big blue house round the corner. I live there with the man I love, the man who uplifted my life. He is a kind man, a godsend, and I am sure he'll be happy to shelter you for a night." As she uttered those words, the homeless man burst into tears. He finally lifted his head and cried, "I am sorry, Aisha. How does he know my name?" Aisha thought. And it took her a second to realize that the man under the garb of old clothes was Mike. "What is this? What's going on?" she asked him. "I am deeply sorry for subjecting you to my test. I needed to make certain that you weren't after my wealth and that you truly cared for me. My doubt and lack of trust hurt you and caused this charade. Pretending to be homeless was insensitive, and I understand now how much pain and hardship it truly represents. My actions were thoughtless and I regret them deeply. It took me 2 weeks to make amends, but I finally reached out to you and expressed my heartfelt apologies. To my relief, you saw that I was truly Rumsfeld and my love for you was genuine. We were finally able to open up to each other and our connection was stronger than ever." They decided they didn't need to get married for their love to stand the test of time. Mike and Aisha were together through every ebb and flow that followed in their lives, including the time when Mike fell seriously ill. Aisha never left his side, not even when he breathed his last after listening to her sing one last time, or even when Mike's children cried by his bed. "Here, my darlings," Aisha handed Jane and Julian an envelope a few days after Mike's passing. It was revealed that Mike had gifted all of his wealth to Aisha, and without hesitation he transferred it to Jay and Julie. "These assets belong to you both from the moment you were born. Your father worked hard for you, and even though he may have been upset with you at times, deep down he wanted you to have this." Aisha comforted the two who were overcome with emotions. They vowed to take care of her for the rest of her life, in honor of their father's wishes.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Story Corner. We hope you were inspired by today's story and learned something new. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest content. Until next time, keep living life to the fullest.